Well, hello, this is student forecaster Stephen Boyle for Northeast Weather Center. I know it's been a while since I've put out a video. The reason why is because there isn't really much going on as far as the weather's concerned. Very quiet, not a lot going on, no, not a lot of severe weather. There is some rain out there today here into the Northeast, finally. We'll get to that in a few minutes, but really, notice there's not a lot going on. I mean, we do have some severe weather down here in Texas, and we do have all of these flood concerns in the Midwest because these the snowpack that was up here is starting to melt and it's draining into the rivers, and we've also had a lot of rain into this region. There is a little bit of again some isolated flood concerns because of some showers going through New England. We'll again get to that in a few minutes. But for the most part, things are very quiet. So here's the radar, and actually we'll go to the the full resolution version. And basically you can see folks who live into Massachusetts definitely seeing some rain today. There was actually some thunderstorms, and there are still a few scattered thunderstorms moving through portions of Connecticut. And actually, this is basically moving into this direction. So basically, because again, you have all of this, it's kind of moving in this like counterclockwise direction. So these folks, again, this is like basically moving in this direction. So these folks will eventually get into some more rain and things like that, and there's also some more rain here into northern New Hampshire. And look at all of this rain. This will eventually be working its way eastward, and look at that major area of rain. We'll put this into motion here, and basically you can see that this is moving in an easterly direction. So we will eventually get into some more rain here into the northeast. There is some thunderstorms in here, some thunderstorms down here. There is also some pretty hefty rains. Look at these down here into Texas. I mean, you have some really intense areas of thunderstorms. You also have some thunderstorms into Arkansas and thunderstorms back here. So, you know, it's nothing really major. So here is our satellite imagery, and again you can see that here is the center of low pressure. This is going to continue to move off into this direction, so basically these clouds that we have over New England will eventually be moving out. However, this area of clouds and precip will eventually move through, giving these folks again some more rain, which again in New England it's definitely needed, as of course there is a drought. So we'll first look at the NAM model, and basically you'll notice that we have this batch of rain moving through tomorrow, and Saturday, and Sunday, and notice we do have this frontal system that's about to be moving through. Notice the hefty winds and the cold air coming down behind this front. And look at this enormous high back out in here. So this is some pretty crazy stuff. Old Man Winter still has a hold on the United States here. And notice here is where the high pressure is. This will eventually move in this direction, and eventually these folks in here will see some frost. And this is on Monday morning now. Notice how we are having these winds, so this will kind of keep the frost from forming. But just look at this ridge. This is some intense stuff. Eventually this high will move over and basically push this chillier air out. So that's what it's looking like right now. So that's the NAM. Looking at the GFS, basically same situation. If the GFS wants to come up. So yeah, so basically the same situation. Here's that little low pressure system. Here's our next system. Notice how it gives rain for folks into the northeast. And notice we get this major ridge and trough. And again, folks who live into the northeast and the Ohio River Valley will be seeing frost Monday morning. As of course things are going to be very chilly. Again, this cold air eventually moves out and we see this warm air push through, and again we could have some bouts of chillier air, and again we could see some periods of rain, but for the most part things after that doesn't look all that cool. However, we do see a little bit of another trough moving through, and this trough is a little bit more negative tilted, so this may be enough to finally spawn some thunderstorms into the Midwest. So we'll have to kind of look and see how that happens. And then again, we have this major ridge back out west, which again, this will eventually move through the country, and before we know it, it'll be nice and warm and toasty again. Again, we'll look towards the end of this video. We'll look at temperatures, but right now we're just showing you the precipitation. So here we go. Here is that little storm system. Here is our next one, the one that's right now into the starting to move through the Great Lakes. This will move up into this region, give these guys some more rain, well-needed rain, mainly in through New England, New York State, places like that moves through. We eventually see some very chilly air. And again, you can kind of notice that there is some winds coming down from Canada. Here is our high pressure right in here. Again, you can notice you notice the ridge back out west where we have our other area of high pressure. And again, eventually this gets pushed out and forced out, and we get a nice warm front move through. And for the most part, things will kind of become pretty nice and warm after that. So that's what it's looking like as far as the Euro goes. So let's look at the NAM's temperatures. And so yeah. So here's what it's looking like. And again, the NAM, I've been noticing this year, has really been overdoing temperatures, because this is tomorrow's temperatures, and it's showing folks getting into the close to 90 degrees. Don't think that will happen, but there will definitely be some 80s tomorrow, so it'll be a nice, warm, toasty Friday. So we'll watch out for that. And then, of course, you can see on Saturday we have some nice conditions. Some folks seeing the 70s and 60s. Can see the very warm air back out west. And again, it'll only be time before that works its way east. You can see Sunday, some areas into the 70s. We'll watch out for that. And you can, again, as this cooler air kind of moves through, you can see we have frost that will really be coming in here. So you can see frost coming in, and this will eventually work its way eastward too. I do anticipate that there will be frost as far east as Worcester County into Massachusetts. I do also anticipate most of New Hampshire, Vermont, and Maine getting into some of this frost, and a good chunk of New York State. Obviously, these guys in here definitely seeing frost. So that's the NAM. Then we have the GFS. So this is going to show us what things will be looking like as far as the next 16 days go. And again, remember, this is very, very preliminary as far as things going out 16 days, but this kind of shows you the temperatures today. Yeah, we had temperatures 65 to 70. Tomorrow, we will be seeing some warm conditions, 70 to 75 or 75 to 80, with some areas maybe even reaching near 83 degrees into the Boston area. And then notice here on Saturday we reached the 70s again. Won't be a very warm or a very cold night Friday night, with temperatures only dropping back into the mid 50s. And then notice here on Sunday, we're reaching it yet again into the 60s. And notice here is some of those frosty conditions kind of coming through. New York State, Vermont, and then also even down into the Appalachians of Virginia and North Carolina. All these folks in here seeing some frost. Also, you have frost through the Great Lakes. Good chunk of Pennsylvania. Also, and then of course you can see this frost actually works its way a little bit to the east here on Tuesday morning. So I do anticipate basically a good chunk of area, or most areas, whoops, I didn't mean to do that. I don't even know what I did. I do anticipate most areas north and west of I-95 picking up a frost here Monday and Tuesday morning. And then, of course, we start to see temperatures warming back up into the 70s. And again, you can see the frost kind of starts moving northward as we see some of this warmer air impeding from the south. It kind of pushes this cooler air north. So you'll notice that temperatures, you can definitely see where that warm front is right here. You can see even some warmer air in here, but you can definitely see in here where we have rain showers, things will definitely be much, much colder. And again, you can see the very warm air back down in here. And then again, you can see things start warming back up by next Thursday, when temperatures could be rising into the 80s for a good chunk of the region. And again, you can see by next Friday, things are really beginning to heat up, and I do anticipate some folks seeing some 80s and 90s, and you can see that as we move along through. You can definitely see here comes our 80s, 80 to 85 degrees, and it just continues right along through. This is the 22nd, and you can see there will be periods where it's going to be chillier or cooler when we have some rain showers, but for the most part, things staying generally into the 70s with some 80s. And look at this, Friday the 24th. Look at this bout of 90 to 95 degrees going through Virginia right up through Pennsylvania, with a good 80 to 85 degree day going through portions of New England. And then there you go. This is on the 25th, and you can see folks getting back out in here generally 80 to 90 degrees. With these folks, look at the heat down in the deserts of the Southwest. We're talking 120 to 130 degrees. That is some serious warmth. So that is generally what's going on across the country. Excuse me, we still have the euro to look at. Let's look at the euro's temperatures. And again, generally very nice tomorrow. I do anticipate temperatures around 80 degrees tomorrow. Then again, you can see generally there's that cooler air coming in here by Monday. And then again, you can see Monday morning, you can kind of see it's we have frost in here, frost in here. Definitely a large area of frost in Canada. And eventually you can see the temperatures during the daytime not all that warm. But remember, we do have a warm front that will be coming in here, so this bout of warmth, it will eventually be working its way eastward. So you can see that chillier air, and you can already start seeing that this bout of warmth is nosing its way eastward by next Wednesday. So here comes and notice the chillier air in New England, where we are still in the influence of the cooler air. But notice we have these 70s, 80s, and even 90s back coming in from the southwest. And then notice that temperatures warm back up on Thursday, and by next Thursday, and then notice by next Friday, things are really starting to heat up. And generally, for the most part, that's what it's looking like. And notice Sunday the 19th during the morning, we're already starting to hit the 50s and 60s. So that indicates to me that things will be very toasty on Sunday, where we could be talking about very warm temperatures cross up and down the I-95 corridor. So that's what it's looking like right now. Generally, the way it's going to go, rain and showers leading to some cooler air towards the end of the weekend. And then after that, we see again another regeneration of warmth coming in by mid to late next week. Again, we could be seeing frost Monday and Tuesday night, so keep that in mind, or Monday and Tuesday morning, so keep that in mind. Make sure if you have any plants out there that you cover them. By next Wednesday, we may even see some showers and thunderstorms as that warm front starts to move through. By next Thursday, we will be warming up to at least the 70s, if not 80s, in some areas of the Northeast, probably reaching the 90s, and 80s and 90s continue, 70s, 80s, and 90s, moving from next Friday, Thursday and Friday, through a good chunk of the rest of the month. And again, if we have some rain showers or thunderstorms, that will obviously keep temperatures down a little bit, but for the most part, average conditions with our warmth starting to come in here. And again, it looks like summer may be starting a little bit early this year. However, this year has been a little bit nice to us because April, normally we do see a 90-degree day in April. Well, guess what? That didn't happen this year. So this year has been very kind to us, but we'll see what happens as we go along through. That's it for today. And again, I don't know when I'll be doing my next video, but again, I've been kind of busy because, again, I'm just about finishing up high school here. My final day of school is the 31st of the month for high school, so I've been kind of trying to get things ready. You know, I'm not going off to college, but, you know, there's a lot that needs to be done, and, you know, and of course there's also been some family problems, so, you know, kind of got a lot going on in my life. So, again, I'll try to be here for next week, giving you an update on the weather, but for now, that's it, and I hope you all have a great rest of your Thursday, and we'll be back tomorrow. We'll be back next week with another update. Take care.